Excuse me, sir. Do you have any video games? No.
To say we all watched the May 2024 PlayStation State of Play would be an understatement. We all watched the May 2024 State of Play in horror.
Let's go gambling! Aw, dang it. Aw, dang it. Aw, dang it. Aw, dang it.
In an insufferable and insurmountable pile of games we already knew about, live services, multi-platforms, and multi-platform live services, emerged one thing that rightfully stole almost all the discussion around the digital conference. They made an entire game into the Astro Bot demo. This looks incredible. This is just what the PS5 needs to shut up all those naysayers. Oh, what's the catch? Where the fuck have you been? Right, so clearly the PS5 and even the 9th generation as a whole have been a little weird, right? Sans Nintendo, I feel the other two giants of the video game industry are missing an incredibly integral part of the market. Where are the kids' games? Look, don't get me wrong. I understand that the kids that grew up with video games are older now, so naturally, games have reflected that with more mature stories and lots of... Guys, if I see another AAA blockbuster game with a skill tree, I'm gonna rob a gas station. And yeah, don't misunderstand me. I'm not trying to say that children's games don't exist anymore, but there aren't as many as there should be. And frankly, where are all of Sony's kids' games? Or better yet, and no offense, dude, but why are we stuck with Astro Bot? First, I want to get this out of the way. I was originally only going to include Sony first-party titles with an E rating for the PS5, but I need you to understand, I was unable to do that because there's only one first-party E-rated game on the 4-year-old PS5. How did we get here?
Hello, citizens of Europe. As spokesperson for SAPS, the Society Against PlayStation, I'd like to talk to you about a menace threatening humanity. It's happening right here, in our very homes, and corrupting the lives of our loved ones. Yes, friends, I'm talking about this.
If you're unfamiliar, after a deal gone sour with Nintendo for a revolutionary disc-based console, Sony decided it was going to pull itself up by its bootstraps and make its own console. And Nintendo, if you're wondering, decided to partner up with Philips for their own console, which went obviously great.
Yay, Luigi?
Ooh. Yeah, anyways, the PlayStation went on to sell more than 100 million units. I mean, and if you're really asking me, I think the Philips CDI was more important for culture.
I hope she made lots of
It was a great time to be there, folks. You've got your Crash, Spyro, Parappa the Rapper, Toro Inoue, you name it. Mostly platformers, but those were the times we lived in. Every console worth its salt was looking for its own killer app. A Mario, a Zelda, Block. Gaming itself was in its younger years, and because Nintendo successfully marketed the NES as a children's toy after the market crash of '83, gaming stuck to its guns and stayed mostly in the kids' aisle. And especially during a time where realism was a pipe dream for gaming, Sony was fine trying their hand at bubbly children's mascots, or weird uncles and people your mom warned you about.
I would really prefer if you would be quiet.
With the rise in computing power for consoles, the gaming industry was about to get its first boost in graphical power in a very long time, and then somebody offered Sony their first pack of Newports after school one day. PlayStation's teenage years. The PS2, baby, where most of the PS1 titans that carried over either got their first tribal tattoos and with the times, or stayed the same, because they are without flaw, and I love you, Parappa the Rapper, and you'll get your time in the spotlight soon, don't worry. The PS2 had gems like Sly Cooper, Ratchet & Clank, Jak and Daxter. I mean, this was prime mascot gaming, baby. You had the cute, the edgy, SpongeBob was there. Everybody basically had the mascot platformer down to a science. We had puzzle platformers, collectathons, rhythm games, stealth games, guns. It was a great time to be a kid, man. And don't get me wrong, Uncle Crash and Spyro are there too, but they haven't been the same since the incident. And oh wait, have you noticed that all these kids' games so far have had one thing in common? I hope nothing bad happens to them.
Ma'am?
Flying over the middle of the Rubel Kali Desert, looking for some lost city in the sand. Next thing I know, plane's going down. I'm hanging like a rag doll at 30,000 feet, just trying to hold on.
And a plague on every corner. When half the city hated me, and the other half wanted me dead. He brought out my good side.
Tell him your war has changed. So you do what you have to. I'm no hero. But whatever good I've done, it was him.
It was in the days of suffering when the gods made their might known. When no mortal dared stand up to Zeus. He did.
Michael!
Michael.
Michael.
When the Templars murdered my family. When the whole bloody world's gone crazy. Hellcat, Sector 9, to Michael! For all he does.
Oh, it's the PlayStation 3 era. I didn't notice you there. Have you seen Parappa anywhere? I haven't seen him in a... what's with all the white guys? The HD era of gaming ushered in a bit of a realism arms race that we're still dealing with to this day. Games were getting more cinematic, while online multiplayer started to truly flourish. This is where we got our Nathan Drake, Infamous, you name it. Even Metal Gear was trying to flaunt their stuff like an old man in a locker room. Emphasis on the old man. Ooh, look at those old men fighting. Ooh, old men kissing? Ooh. Sadly, this meant the PlayStation's E-rated output was a little stunted, personally. Which is funny, because when I say stunted, I really don't mean like low quality, just quantity. Because what did we get?
Planet Earth. Or as the rest of the Omniverse call it, the Orb of Dreamers. The occupants of which spend so much time asleep and dreaming. Their vast imaginations humming away, charged with creative energy. It forms a world, an ethereal dreamscape of adventure and possibilities. An abstract plane of beautiful wonderment just waiting to be explored. And you can go there now.
Oh man, if you were a kid during the PS3 life cycle, you had Little Big Planet. Otherwise, you were missing out on some of the best games this console had. You also probably had some other issues to deal with. But man, if this was the hype for the PS3 for me. Personally, at least. User-generated levels, adorable characters, a great soundtrack, that one Mortal Kombat stage where somebody put LMFAO's I'm Sexy and I Know It up to their PS3 iToy.
Tu sempre così inizi, eh? Buono. Minchia.
I could gush about Little Big Planet for hours, but sadly that's not why we're here today. Besides, I could honestly say Little Big Planet filled a lot of the absences in the PS3's library for kids, and some solid HD collections here was all that we needed. That's personally how I played the Ratchet & Clank series. But hey, GTA 5 needs a new console to port itself to, so chop chop Sony boy, on with the next one. Ooh. Okay, not the best look for Sony. The 8th generation of consoles set in stone the industry standard of paid online services, blockbuster AAA titles, and live services with battle passes in a console market where I could personally argue Nintendo, by this point, is in a separate league of their own. All Sony has to do is lean into their incredibly rich and diverse library of exclusives. Oh my god, it's just you guys. Oh my god, it's just you guys, isn't it? There's not going to be anyone else but you guys. It's just you guys. This is the lineup for the Oh, fuck. Yeah, so here's the lineup for the PS4. Ratchet & Clank, the remake, and Little Big Planet 3.
What are you doing here? Go. You need to leave. I've told you not to enter my... I've told you not to enter my room without asking. I've told you not to enter my room without asking. I've told you not to enter my room without asking. I've told you not to enter my room without asking. I've told you not to enter my room without asking. I've told you not to enter my room without asking. I've told you not to enter my room without asking. I've told you not to enter my room without asking. I've told you not to enter my room without asking. I've told you not to enter my room without asking. I've told you not to enter my room without asking. I've told you not to enter my room without asking. I've told you not to enter my room without asking. I've told you not to enter my room without asking. I've told you not to enter my room without asking. I've told you not to enter my room without asking. I've told you not to enter my room without asking. I've told you not to enter my room without asking. I've told you not to enter my room without asking. Don't make me ask you again. Leave. Leave!
Ratchet & Clank was a weird reboot of the original based off a movie that bombed in the box office in 2016. I don't know, I guess we had bigger fish to fry or something. And, in my opinion, served as an unusual declawing of the series, getting rid of its rougher edges and incredible satirical take on late-stage capitalism in a sci-fi setting for a bland, more broad appeal, and, I mean, we can see how that went for them, frankly. On the other hand, the remake was just a slightly watered-down remake of the original Ratchet & Clank game, spliced with scenes of the theatrical movie serving as cutscenes. And while it's not fantastic, we're in such dire straits that we're gonna have to take what we can get. But, you know what? That's okay. Little Big Planet 3 wasn't a PS4 exclusive per se, but as someone who played it on their PS3 instead of the PS4, I really felt it in the loading screens and screams coming out of my poor PS3.
Stop! Stop! Oh, stop. Just play my fucking games, bro.
Nonetheless, Little Big Planet 3 took what worked for the last two outings and made one of the most mechanically in-depth and intuitive level builders we'd get from Media Molecule until they made Dreams. So, wait, isn't that like a big win? That sounds awesome for the PS4. What could possibly be wrong with the... Oh, it's over. Oh, it's over. We lost, didn't we? We lost. It's done. Yeah, nothing really gets our flagship children's IP like mugging you in broad daylight and then kicking a puppy in case you didn't hate them after they mugged you. Oh, yeah, that's it. We loop back around to the present. Well, since we're back here already, let's just do a lightning round. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart and Sackboy A Big Adventure are certainly a step up in places, especially from the last Ratchet & Clank outing, but the Little Big Planet franchise got demoted to a bog-standard 3D platformer. Don't get me wrong, it's a solid 9 out of 10 3D platformer, but stripping the franchise of its identity like that only succeeds in helping it blend in with the rest of its contemporaries.
And hilariously enough, Sackboy isn't even the best 3D platformer on the PS5. Neither is Ratchet, for that matter. Surely you understand who I'm talking about. The best PlayStation platformer is... Spider-Man!
Okay, hold on, I'm kidding. But I know a lot of you were waiting for me to bring up the webhead specifically, and yeah, don't delete the comment, please, I need it. Crazy as it seems, somehow we live in a world where someone could look you with a straight face and tell you Spider-Man is a PlayStation mascot. It makes sense. I mean, it's a third-person AAA action-adventure with light RPG elements and based off the most popular superhero of our time. No arguments there. Appealing to both kids and adults, but to me, Spider-Man exists in an awkward gray category. Spider-Man isn't an original IP made for the PlayStation consoles. I see Spider-Man more of a crutch, honestly. It's stuck between a console with only 2 other kids' games beside it and a company that seemingly can't be bothered to do anything about that. Oh, wait, am I forgetting someone? Yeah, I feel like I'm forgetting someone. Oh, shit, Astro Bot. You're telling me the best platformer released on the PS5 came free with the console? Yeah, that's right. We're actually going to talk about Astro Bot now. Sit down, George. Astro's Playroom, developed by Japanese dev studio Team Asobi, is a 3D platformer pre-installed onto literally every PS5. It did, in fact, come free with your PS5. Serving as a tech demo, essentially. It sadly succeeds in being some of the most fun you can have on the console, utilizing all the console's special features like the controller's haptic feedback and the gyros to genuinely deliver a game oozing with charm, beautiful visuals, and tight gameplay to boot. It's also filled with plenty of callbacks and references to PlayStation's history to boot. That's about it, though. Not much to say about a tech demo, since that's all it'll ever be. Damn, y'all seeing this? I want to preface this part by stating that I could not be more excited for Astro Bot. I will be supporting it day one in a desperate attempt to tell Sony we need more games like this in our current ecosystem. We need that diversity. And it just looks fucking awesome on top of that, alright? I'm a Sony glazer, okay? You may not realize this, but I'm a pretty top-tier Sony glazer. For all the praise I want to give Astro Bot, there's one thing I can't shake. Do you notice how the trailer likes to dangle classic Sony reps throughout? I'm all for a good callback here and there, but for the most part, I'm left more upset than anything. both at the implication Astro Bot needs these cheap MCU-level cameos in the game to convince you it's worth your time, and at the fact a majority of these characters haven't been seen in years. Like Parappa, Jack, Spike, Wander, and Eco, to name a few, with some, if not most of these characters being left dormant on the shelves of Sony's colorful past for more than 20 years. It's frankly unearned to me. And while I'm not speaking objectively, it honestly hurts to see my favorites like Parappa in a game like this, when you can see and read statements from Rodney Allen Greenblatt, the character designer behind the franchise, write in blog posts lamenting what happened to America's favorite rapping puppy dog. It's total member berries, dude, and I honestly hope cheap cameos like them can stay in the background and let the incredible quality of Astro Bot's game and sound design stand on its own. With that being said, I think that Astro Bot is the game Sony needs right now for its pathetic lineup of family-friendly games. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, gaming for kids is pretty inconsistent right now. On one hand, you have Nintendo in a league of their own, and while the Nintendo Switch's vast library of titles mostly appeals to all audiences, on the other hand, you have... I'm sorry. Look, a lot of this is going to sound like pearl clutching, and I hate to say it, but when Sony fails to give kids suitable entertainment on their own consoles, they're going to find it elsewhere. Whether it's through third parties or freemium games like Fortnite that use manipulation tactics and partner with popular children's brands and creators to pressure kids into buying battle passes and skins. And if we're being entirely honest, I hate that. Kids deserve stories made for them just as adults do. And when we're left with the 9th generation's second most popular console only having 2 E for Everyone games 4 years into its lifespan, I want something done. I want Sony to have the balls to dust off some of their most popular IP and stop letting them rot. For every Sekiro, God of War, and Death Stranding, I want the younger generation to have their own stories to attach themselves to, just as we did when we were their age. I want Sony to make games for kids again. And that's why I want Astro Bot to succeed. Not because I really accept him as Sony's mascot or because I'm excited about the idea, but it would send the right message. Sony's been ignoring one of their biggest and most in-need demographics for way too long. And yeah, that about sums it up.
I can't allow them to make an independent Quimbly game. It's my IP to sit on and do nothing with. We must find them and destroy them.
To tie a neat bow on the Yapaholics Anonymous session here, I just want to lay clear a few of my points. I think Sony needs to address its huge gap in the market, and maybe it's time to take their foot off the AAA blockbuster gas pedal to make room for more low-budget children's games. And while I myself greatly enjoyed the Insomniac Spider-Man games, I don't think he personally fits in with the rest of Sony's library of console mascots. It's okay if you do. And, of course, to really drive it home, I think Astro Bot is going to be fantastic, and I can't wait to see what it has in store. Sadly, there is a good reason the PS5 brought back with it an old mantra. The PS5 has no games. 'Cause it kinda doesn't, you know? Thanks for watching. Hey, so the video's over now. This is just kind of like an unscripted thank you session. First of all, if you could, a like would be greatly appreciated. Leave a comment, subscribe to the channel if you're interested. I do have another video planned right now. It's about Parappa the Rapper. It's going to be about Parappa the Rapper. But I really just wanted to thank a few people in specific, mostly my entire Twitch audience, for really bolstering my courage to take the leap into making some independent YouTube videos. And I also wanted to give a shout out to my boys over at Mana Potion Tabletop, just for being so supportive with the whole creative process and everything. And I mean, hey, this also goes to you, viewer, right now. If you think that the if you think the PS5 has enough kids games on it, I'm all for it. Please tell me what you think in the comments below. I'm curious. I don't really hear enough people talk about this. I know it seems kind of dumb that like we need E-rated games on a console, but yeah, you kind of do, man. Video games aren't just for adults. I mean, that's certainly not how they started, but I think we're missing a good middle ground here. That's about it, though. Again, I want to give a big thanks to everyone in my Twitch audience, and hey, if you're interested, you could follow me on my Twitch, too. That'll be right in the About section, given that I was not stupid enough to actually remember to like verify my account and stuff. Thank you so much for watching. See ya.